In 1929, the mighty Graf Zeppelin cruised low over Chicago, casting a giant shadow across the skyline. People on the streets stopped, stunned, watching this floating titan drift through their city. During World War I, the Harlem Hellfighters and All-Black Regiment earned global respect with unmatched courage on the battlefield. Even as they faced discrimination back home, their bravery still echoes today. Believe it or not, Hitler's own nephew, William Stewart Houston, defected to the US, joined the Navy, and fought against his uncle's regime. History truly knows how to twist the plot. After the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, all that remained were smoldering ruins and scorched bricks. But from that devastation, a stronger, bolder Chicago would rise from the ashes. On board the USS Brooklyn in 1896, sailors trained and drilled aboard one of the Navy's toughest ships. It was discipline, grit, and steel all on display. Before it was torn down in 1963, New York's original Penn Station was a masterpiece of architecture. Massive archways, marble floors, and a sense of grandeur you just don't see anymore. A haunting portrait of Robert McGee tells a chilling story. A young man scalped in 1864 who lived on with visible scars and a lifetime of survival etched into his face. In the 1940s, Chicago's rail yards were booming with life locomotives huffing steam, men in overalls working tracks, all captured in brilliant Kodachrome by Jack Delano. At Fort Knox in 1942, tank crews trained for war climbing into armored beasts, pushing through drills, sweating through their gear, prepping for the front lines of World War II. In the 1970s, NASA looked to the stars and imagined massive space colonies orbiting Earth, housing tens of thousands. It was bold, futuristic, and just maybe, within reach. Photographer Jack Delano captured a young man's journey from civilian to soldier. The discipline, the transformation, the purpose, it was all there, frame by frame. From 1906 to 1917, workers carved through rock and earth to build the Catskill Aqueduct, a feat of engineering that brought clean mountain water into New York City's beating heart. In Vermont, 1941, the Rutland State Fair lit up with carnival rides, livestock competitions, and smiling families. It was small-town America at its most colorful right before the world would change forever. Photographer Terry Eiler visited a Native American reservation in 1972 and captured real, unfiltered life from school children and families to homes and ceremonies. No stereotypes, just truth. One grainy black and white image from 1966 changed everything. Taken from Lunar Orbiter 1, it showed Earth rising over the moon's horizon. For the first time, we saw our home from space. Portland once boasted the Forestry Building, a colossal log cabin-style hall built for the 1905 Lewis Clark Exposition. It stood proud and grand until fire brought it to the ground. In 1910, New York streets swelled with holiday shoppers. No traffic signals, just carriages, crowds, and chaos. Retail madness in the Big Apple isn't new, it just used to wear hats. Astronauts in the 1960s had to prep for more than space. Jungle survival, desert navigation, you name it. NASA made sure if they came down in the wrong place, they'd survive. The ironworkers who built the Empire State Building? Legends. No harnesses, no fear, just balancing on narrow beams, hundreds of feet in the air, turning a dream into a skyline. And in Seattle, between 1905 and 1930, they didn't just build a city, they reshaped it. Hills were leveled, streets rerouted. It was urban planning on a massive scale. Before she became the unstoppable music legend we all know, a young Tina Turner was already lighting up the stage in the late 1950s. Known as the Queen of Rock and Roll, these vintage images show her transformation across the decades. Raw, powerful, and iconic. Her energy wasn't just heard, it was seen and felt. Back in the 1930s, cars were fast, but safety wasn't. These haunting photographs capture real car wrecks from a time before seatbelts and airbags were standard. The twisted metal and broken glass reveal just how dangerous early driving really was, and how far we've come. In 1995, NASA ran a bizarre experiment. They gave spiders drugs, Yes, spiders. From caffeine to LSD, they wanted to see how the drugs would affect web building. The results? Strange, disorganized webs that looked nothing like nature intended. A small but powerful look into how chemicals affect the brain. From 1902 to 1912, Alexander Graham Bell, yes, the telephone guy, turned his attention to the skies. He built huge geometric kites made from hundreds of tiny triangles. These bizarre-looking contraptions were part of his dream to unlock the future of aviation. Now meet Ralph Tex Madsen, the tallest cowboy in history. Standing over 7 feet tall, he was a real-life Western legend in the 1920s and 30s. Just his presence alone could fill a room, or a prairie. Wallace G. Levison spent the late 1800s wandering the streets of New York City with a camera in hand. His photographs are like a time machine to the Gilded Age, where horse-drawn carriages, top hats, and crowded sidewalks told the story of a booming city. Imagine moving an entire house with horses. Between 1890 and 1910, before cranes or trucks existed, people literally rolled homes down the street using teams of horses and wooden logs. It was slow, risky, and genius all at once. During the Great Depression, homeless Americans built entire towns out of scrap metal and wood. They called them Hoovervilles, named after President Hoover, who many blame for the crisis. These haunting images tell a story of survival, struggle, and the human spirit. In 1943, behind barbed wire in the California desert, thousands of innocent Japanese Americans were held in internment camps. One of those camps was Manzanar. These photos show families trying to maintain dignity and life under unjust conditions, a dark reminder of what fear can do. Between 1908 and 1924, Newsies, child newspaper sellers, lined the streets of America's biggest cities. These kids worked long hours for pennies, often in bare feet, and sometimes sparked strikes demanding fair pay. Their portraits reveal tired eyes and untold strength. New York City. Summers between 1930 and 1960 had a special kind of magic. Public swimming pools were community hubs, kids splashing, families relaxing, and neighborhoods cooling off together. These photos capture more than recreation. They show joy in the heart of the city. Las Vegas in the 1960s and 70s, it was pure electricity. Neon lights, casino crowds, showgirls, and swagger filled the streets. These striking images freeze a golden era when Vegas became the city that never slept and never stopped dazzling. During World War I, something unbelievable happened. A real German U-boat, submarine, and military tanks were dragged into Central Park, New York, as part of a public war bond campaign. It was surreal, theatrical, and a bold PR move to rally support. In 1903, prison officials were shocked when the two inmates, Will and William West, arrived at the same time with nearly identical names and faces. Confusion followed, until fingerprinting was introduced to tell them apart. That moment changed the criminal justice system forever. On January 28, 1986, millions of Americans watched the Challenger space shuttle lift off live on TV, only to witness the unthinkable. Just 73 seconds into flight, the shuttle exploded, killing all 7 astronauts on board. It was a moment of heartbreak and reflection for a nation. In 1863, 2 children named Isaac and Rosa were photographed shortly after being freed from slavery in New Orleans. Their image became a symbol for abolitionists, a quiet yet powerful argument against racism and a call for justice in human form. Coney Island, in the 1940s, was more than just roller coasters and hot dogs. These rare color photos bring to life the energy of boardwalk summers, packed beaches, and laughter echoing over the Atlantic breeze. It was America's playground, and it was unforgettable. In 1938, photographer Ben Shahn walked the streets of London, Ohio, not England, on a simple Saturday. His camera captured real faces, real storefronts, and real stories. No grand events, just the beautiful rhythm of small-town American life during the Great Depression. That famous Hollywood sign? It started as Hollywoodland back in 1924. These old photos trace its journey from a real estate ad to the global symbol of movies, stars, and fame. Weathered, iconic, and always watching over Tinseltown. And finally, life in space. In the 1970s, NASA launched Skylab, America's first space station. These photos show astronauts floating weightless, eating meals in orbit, and conducting experiments above Earth. It was the beginning of something far bigger than any one mission. If you enjoyed this visual time travel, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another trip through history. Which moment surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, we'd love to hear them. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and remember history is never really past. It's right here, waiting to be rediscovered. Thanks for watching.